transformando el mañana sobre el alma de la tierra. Voy dejando mi huella en el fulgor de las estrellas,
protegiendo la esfera, respetando la escarcha, con la siembra amorosa para un bosque de nostalgia.
Es la voz de la entraña, en montañas y valles, hoy va a ser el futuro, el pulmón de los Andes.
Yo quería agradecer esta actividad que ha generado Urbacer, porque es precisamente lo que necesitamos, tener que al mismo tiempo educar no solamente a los estudiantes, sino también a las personas que están involucradas en el manejo de los residuos.
Urbacer viene generando nuevos paradigmas y de verdad está avanzando. Creo que vamos por el camino correcto. Yo creo que necesitamos es más gente. Necesitamos que seamos más que están. Debemos encontrar los medios para encontrarnos. Y yo creo que hoy hay un cambio que es imparable y el mundo está transitando una ciudadanía más ecológica.
Bueno, muchísimas gracias a todos. Les agradezco mucho este espacio que propende básicamente informar a la comunidad en general de los impactos, de los mecanismos y todas esas acciones que vienen articuladas con varios municipios y con la comunidad en general.
Realmente felicitar a Urbacer por este tipo de escenarios, fomentarlos y darles continuidad. Es una acción también muy importante, la divulgación de este tipo de temáticas. Entonces los felicito.
¿Quiénes transforman el mañana? Lo transforman los que hoy entregan lo mejor que tienen para servir a los demás. Lo transforman aquellos que hoy no temen ensuciarse las manos por el bien común. Lo transforman los que hoy construyen el futuro, inculcando un legado ambiental a las próximas generaciones. Lo transformamos todos aquellos que hoy trabajamos por un país sostenible, ponemos el corazón en todo lo que hacemos y servimos con orgullo a nuestras regiones. En Urbacer, hoy transformamos el mañana.
En Urbacer, creemos que con pequeñas acciones logramos grandes transformaciones que permitirán minimizar el impacto en el medio ambiente provocado por la creciente generación de residuos, preservar, conservar y recuperar los ecosistemas, elevar la conciencia ciudadana alrededor de temas medioambientales. Somos líderes mundiales en gestión medioambiental, con presencia en más de 30 países alrededor del mundo. Atendemos a más de 50 millones de personas, gracias a un equipo de 35,000 colaboradores comprometidos con el desarrollo de operaciones responsables, la construcción de comunidades sostenibles y el respeto y la preservación de los recursos naturales. En 2020 regresamos a Colombia, el segundo territorio más biodiverso del mundo, con la firme convicción de ofrecer soluciones que contribuyan a la sostenibilidad y preservación de sus ecosistemas. Hoy somos más de 2.000 personas transformando el mañana. Brindamos servicios ambientales de calidad a más de 2,4 millones de habitantes en los departamentos del Atlántico, Boyacá, Cauca, Chocó, Córdoba, Cundinamarca, Quindío y Valle del Cauca. Contamos con 4 parques tecnológicos ambientales que gestionan los residuos del 10% de los municipios del país y en los que implementamos nuevas tecnologías e innovamos continuamente, en consonancia con nuestra estrategia social y ambiental como miembros del Pacto Global en Colombia. Prestamos servicios urbanos a través del barrido, poda de árboles y corte de césped, el lavado y desinfección de espacios públicos y la disposición correcta de los residuos, ayudando a construir ambientes y ciudades sostenibles. Mensualmente, barremos más de 190.000 kilómetros de calles en diferentes ciudades del país. Recogemos más de 38.000 toneladas de residuos. Cortamos más de 5 millones de metros cuadrados de césped. En nuestros 4 parques tecnológicos ambientales, tratamos y disponemos cada mes más de 70.000 metros cúbicos de lixiviados y disponemos cerca de 50.000 toneladas de residuos. Estamos comprometidos con la dignificación, desarrollo y seguridad de nuestros empleados. Creemos en el trabajo colaborativo hecho con responsabilidad. Impulsamos la creatividad para imaginar nuevas soluciones. Estamos convencidos de que desde la franqueza construimos confianza y sabemos que juntos, hoy, construimos el mañana. Estamos convencidos además de que no basta con prestar servicios eficientes. Es necesario ser partícipes en la transformación de nuestras sociedades y municipios, a través de la educación y la cultura ciudadana. Por eso otorgamos especial importancia al relacionamiento con las comunidades a las cuales servimos. Formar en educación ambiental y contribuir a elevar la conciencia ambiental de los ciudadanos, entendemos que es parte importante de nuestra labor, así como propiciar el uso de tecnologías que conduzcan a hacer realidad la economía circular y contribuir en el diseño y la construcción de ciudades sostenibles y amables con sus ciudadanos. Estamos convencidos del poder que todos tenemos para transformar el mañana. Por eso los invitamos a que juntos recorramos este camino por la construcción de un mejor planeta y una vida sostenible. Colombia lo merece. Todos lo merecemos.
Hace 24 años empezó a tejerse un nudo irrompible que representa la unión de las empresas más importantes del país. Empresas que no descansan en su objetivo de sumar al desarrollo de Colombia, de ofrecer servicios de calidad, y hemos tejido el poder de la conectividad. Esa posibilidad de unir al territorio, de ofrecer bienestar, de reducir las brechas sociales, de destacarnos ante los mercados internacionales, de competir con lealtad, de aprender el uno del otro y dar forma a ese país que estamos dejando a nuestros hijos. Bien mencionó Winston Churchill: construir puede ser una tarea lenta y laboriosa de años, y que destruir puede ser el acto irreflexivo de un solo día. Tenemos en nuestras manos el desafío de no fallar, de levantarnos tras la crisis, de demostrar que nos interesa un mundo lleno de problemas y que la sostenibilidad es una prioridad. La historia la escriben los vencedores y nosotros la estamos haciendo. Con servicios de acueducto, alcantarillado, aseo, gestión de residuos, energía eléctrica, gas natural, tecnologías de la información, comunicaciones, TIC y televisión. Estamos cambiando realidades. Somos un ejército silencioso lleno de buenos resultados. Sumamos drásticamente a la competitividad del país. Ejercemos influencia positiva. Somos el cambio. Hacemos el cambio. En los últimos años, generamos millones de empleos, consolidamos centros tecnológicos en línea con tendencias internacionales, abanderamos la equidad de género y empoderamos a la mujer en el sector. Invertimos en infraestructura tecnológica y generamos más bienestar a los usuarios. Nuestras empresas incluyeron en sus planes la generación con fuentes no convencionales de energía para diversificar la matriz eléctrica y atender la demanda. Promovemos los medidores inteligentes, la movilidad sostenible y el rol preponderante que tiene la energía eléctrica y el gas natural en este proceso de contribuir a la calidad del aire y al bienestar de los ciudadanos. De aguas, entre otras acciones, estamos pensando en abandonamos su causa, en adaptarnos al cambio climático, en sumar al fin de la pobreza, en crecimiento económico, preservación de ecosistemas, en ser agentes generadores de paz y en consolidar alianzas. Los desafíos del mundo son nuestros propios desafíos. Somos la Asociación Nacional de Empresas de Servicios Públicos y Comunicaciones, Andesco. El gremio en el que tiene que estar.
Transformando el mañana sobre el alma de la tierra, voy dejando mi huella en el fulgor de las estrellas.
Protegiendo la esfera, respetando la escarcha, con la siembra amorosa para un bosque de nostalgia.
Es la voz de la entraña, en montañas y valles, hoy va a ser el futuro, el pulmón de los Andes.
Vamos a dar inicio entonces a la jornada contemplada para esta tarde en este segundo Encuentro Internacional de Gestión de Residuos en Tiempos de Cambio.
Alliance that has done Urbacer and Desco with Boyacá 7 Días and Santo Tomas University, and all the alliance that we have for the development of this important activity that has come with important and the specialists from different country sites like Jumbo, Urbacer Occidente, Urbacer Centro, Procuraduría Nacional de Investigación, Superintendencia de Gestión de Impresos, the Enterprise of Recycle, and the Development Secretary, and the Mayor, and the Gobernación de Cundinamarca, Soacha, and also the communals that has asked that with you, for example, the leaders of neighborhood Libertador, and all of them very interested in the reflections as told the leader of Umberser Colombia. They have convoked us to get a reflection. And now we are gonna receive one of our best speakers about waste, about recycle, on all of these thanks to Urbaser and the effort that we have done with Doctor and all the board directors to receive this for our specialists. So we are gonna start to our evening journey. Yes, it is, Mister. We are receiving people that are here in the Santo Tomas Auditorium, but also we are doing our link with the fifth seminary that people is doing with public services and desk in the city of Bogota. They have had a very busy schedule. We were linked with them for our speaker Telma Sami speaking about the landfill recycle indicators, and she's gonna be with us at 4 p.m. after the participation of Mr. Manosanto. So she's coming right here and she's gonna do a summary about her participated in ADESCO. So a great to all people that it's connecting right now with us. I would like to greet again all the communals and all the representative people from the different neighbors as Libertadores. What a good. These are the people that are the link between the community, the state, and politics that we can get agreement to looking for solutions to protect the environment. We don't want to penalize or critique. What we really need, is to how to protect and how enterprises as Survasser that we have the responsibility and the training of this topic. How we can create impact trainings, and for that we have the presence of the academic in this type of projects, and for that the Boyacense academies with us a representation of Javier Orlando and all the academics interested and interlocutors to have this message to the child and they know the importance of it. This cátedra is led by Urbacer, Boyacá 7 Días, and Andesco, and we have another entities that are with us in this process because we have been together, Alcaldía Mayor de Tunja, Gobernación de Boyacá, that we're really great for be here, but also to be with us in this great event that we have today. Hoy and tomorrow, talking about environmental surveys and how we build from individual, local, and global way. In fact, of entities, tomorrow we are going to be with the environmental ministry and we are going to visit our park, ecologic park. We have arrived a lot with evolution, and tomorrow we will have a pedagogic journey with them. We would like you have the correct staff clothes, so we are gonna be with there with the environmental ministry and more than 100 entrepreneurs with us, and that they are with us right now. So we want to introduce Mr. Next speaker that is going to discount. It's the end of the landfill. I want to introduce Justin Carr. She is environmental engineer and she works with social environment, especially in our park and technological park from Tinguan to present as the Marcel Santos profile. Welcome, Justin. Thank you so much and good evening for everyone. I have the pleasure to present and to introduce Engineer Doctor of Paths Channel Sports from Universidad Politécnica de España, Master in Environmental Pollution for Universidad Politécnica de Madrid, Engineer of Change Channel Sports of Universidad Politécnica de Madrid, Civil Builder, Engineer Builder from PUC, Pontificia Universidad Católica Brasil, currently Director of GRC of PUCB Chile, UNESCO Catedrático for Environmental and Sanitary Engineer from Universidad de Cantabria, España, PUCB Chile. For me, it's a pleasure to introduce you, Mr. Welcome to Tunja, welcome to this stage, and welcome to our culture.
Muy bien.
Okay.
Muy buenas tardes a todos.
Good evening, everyone.
Vine a conversar.
I came to discuss with you.
Gracias por esta tremenda presentación.
Thank you for this great man. I'm just a teacher that has working as more than 45 years to teaching, and I can say that I have a lot of past, but not much future, so I have to be pretty fast. I have modified a little my presentation because I have seen a lot of and today I'm right here because I did a great effort, because I have a noun of gratitude with some people and Colombia. And I hope that this presentation led us a great reflection. Before to start, let me 1 minute because I'm thankful and I want to recognize the man has to recognize. When we speak about the end of landfill, I want to do a little heritage. I want to do a tribute to Hector Collest, a great teacher that deserves a lot of recognition worldwide. He has been Colombian, he has formed a lot of professionals. Please remember him. Of course, I want to recognize what I thought. I thought things that let me go through the world to teach, and I'm looking a lot of this stuff right here as my students that sometimes listen to me, that let me find with the human that today we don't call them as recyclator, we call base recyclage. And I learned from Oscar. Oscar let me go through the world to speak with what I really learned with appreciation in Pastor Nariño. Thank you so much, Oscar. First time I can do public my greeting with you. And being here in Colombia, and appreciating my friends.
Todos hoy día elevamos una oración
All
para que
we
esta
want
gran
to
persona
pray for this
colombiano,
person,
director
Colombian,
de Aguilis,
director
Colombia,
from
que
Diaries,
hoy día está muy
that
enfermo,
today, unfortunately, is sick,
a su
from
familia,
here
a sus
to
hijos,
his
grandes
family,
profesionales,
his
nuestra
siblings,
máxima energía
our
que
maximum
pronto
energy
pueda servir
to get
y sirviendo a este país.
soon a good
Que te pongas bien muy pronto,
recuperation.
queremos y te necesitamos.
We love you and we need you.
Dicho esto, y disculpándome de que me haya tomado esto para saludar y agradecer,
Having said
vamos a
that,
conversar de algo
let's
que
go
las
to
basuras que hoy llamamos residuos
talk
sólidos.
about the waste and what it's
Cuando
calling
muchos de
today
los que me
as
están escuchando
solid
hoy día
waste.
están aquí,
Hope that it's listening
recursos de
about
Naciones
this
Unidas, ¿no? Que vimos presencialmente en Chile antes
that
que
we
la
saw
pandemia
before Chile
nos dijera que
pandemic
hay que tomar
tell us that we have
exilio
to
voluntario.
take a voluntary exilium at house.
Déjenme contarles un poco
Let me
que el año
tell you about
1840
that
este
1884
ocurrió porque los pobres seguían siendo pobres.
this guy started
Y fíjense
while the poor
la
people
conclusión
was poor people and
fue
told us that
impresionante. Había una relación entre
composition it
pobreza
was
y
a
enfermedad.
very correlation between
Rápidamente se organizó el mundo y
sick and
iniciaron lo que
poorness.
aparecieron las águilas blancas limpiando lo que era basura. Médicos, trabajadores, iniciaron esta campaña. Pero fíjense
But
que
let
después
us
de
know
20
that
años
after clean,
dijeron, oye,
they told
los gases mortíferos
the
no eran lo que
dead
mataban a
gases
la gente.
are not what killing the people.
¿Qué es lo que era?
What really is was
Bacterias.
the bacteria.
Y por primera vez nos damos cuenta
And for the first time, we discover
de que la basura es un problema porque tiene materia orgánica.
that waste is a problem because it has organic. I'm not sure.
O sea que a lo mejor estaríamos hablando de envases y embalajes.
And the as I will say, speaking about other stuff,
Gestión de residuos sólidos.
but not about management of waste,
Ha
solid.
pasado
And if we do recover,
desde el año 1896,
we have
la
lived a
primera
lot of
escuela
time for
sanitaria,
them. The first
donde
time
dijo que hay que preocuparse
when he
porque
told
22
that we
enfermedades
must
no
care
afectan al
about
hombre, sino manejamos
72
los residuos. Hoy día
6 if we don't manage
es
the
el último en que estamos
waste
tratando.
is
Nos
the
hemos
last one
preocupado
that
de
we are
mantener
caring
los
about.
plásticos.
We have cared about the
Yo le he
plastic,
llamado
the
el hermano
carton,
pobre.
and I call it the
Hoy
poor brother of garbage. Today the world start to care about the
entonces nos
organic
damos cuenta
material.
que la basura por su composición
And we start to know
es
about
un problema.
that waste as its composition start to be a
Fíjate que
problem.
los seres humanos
See
generamos cada año
that as
1900
humans
millones de
we
toneladas de residuos.
provoke
Qué cifra más impresionante. Pero
1,900
cuidado,
millions
vamos a
of tons
necesitar
as
otro residuo
solid
que está en nuestras
organic
manos
material.
manejar y no lo hacemos. Vamos a ver.
Let's see.
Fijaros que 3.500
See
millones de
that
personas, la mitad del mundo,
3,500 million people don't have access to service that today we
voy a empezar a apreciar lo
can
pequeño.
enjoy. We have to appreciate what we have right here,
Es
and
el
the
que me permite
economic
conocido.
development
Sí, el
has
crecimiento demográfico, la
said
concentración
as
de población, el uso de una rápido
the use
envejecimiento.
of very
Estuvo
fast
convocado por el Santo Padre,
old. I was convoked
preocupado por la
for
inmigración,
this
la concentración
Papa
en las ciudades,
because of the
para colaborar con su nueva encíclica, Laudato Si, grandes ciudades. Esta concentración que
this
vamos a tener en las
concentration
ciudades,
that we will
y de
have in the
ciudades
cities,
pasarán a megaciudades,
that's from cities are gonna be mega cities. How are you gonna manage the waste?
fijaros de que para el 2100 la
See
población de la Tierra se habrá
how
cuadriplicado.
2,100 our population would be the 4 times that is right now. We think that the biggest growing would wanna be Asia and Africa. Just in Europe will be 20% more than is in 1950.
La ciudad será doble que la actual.
The cities will be the double that now, the triple that's right now.
11 millones de toneladas al día, más que
111
actual.
ton of millions
¿Será posible?
would wanna be triple than more than now.
Tenemos que pensar
So
a lo mejor en la teoría del
we must to
desahogo.
think what is the best theory to do it.
Me falta suelo, me falta agua.
I don't have water, I don't have land.
Con mejor alimento,
The people with more
con menos
feed,
suelo,
with
con menos agua.
less land,
Probablemente
less
esa
water,
será la teoría del desahogo
probably
del futuro.
that is the theory of the
Hoy
future.
día ese es mi canasta.
Currently,
Tengo un
this
grave
is
problema. Todos
my
hablamos de la
box.
basura,
and everyone speak about garbage, waste, solid material, and we don't just study how I made sure. How did you do that? This is our per capita production. This is the balance. This is the level of transportation. Take care. We are confusing some numbers. The countries are more poor, less paper. So, in our country and Caribbean, the integral management of waste and the different type of waste that we have, currently we could think about it. Recollect how can we recycle in the best way. Different type of energy. We could agree 50 more. But let's see. All is in the same line. We are at the final end. Because it's a reason. The landfill, or how we call landfill controlled, historical. It works by flexibility and cost. The landfill never critic the machine didn't work. We don't have a lot of waste, so and I had to buy waste like Denmark because I couldn't promote the total energy that I accomplished. What happened with the paper? So we need to take color balance. Currently, we are looking for the land, and in this inform that you are seeing the situations and tendencies, and please, we have put right there 22 cases because we want to show you that it's not magic. The waste management requires a good process and a long process. 670,000 tonnages to 2015. We need to do something right now. We have a qualitative improvement in the last years, but we still need more than 35,000 tonnages to 145,000 tonnages that are fire on open sky. The impact to environment. Let's see how is the composition about the 50%. It doesn't go over 800 to originate. We are gonna spend more oil. No way. We're looking for a circle economy. But let's compare because we have that tendency against Europe. They are in advanced 30 years. Let's see what's happening with this continent with a lot of technology. Historically, the European waste were to landfill. Hey, a casualty. Yeah. And for the problems that are generated by the vapors, the new uses that we have, where the land jump and the treatment recycle has taken a good importance, accomplished 28% on 2018. The UA has decreased 7% of quantity of solid material, not much to 2020. And some examples, for example, Greece, at the end of 2012, 82% of waste were to landfill, with just 16 as recycled. Lithuania, in 2004, had this balance. The 100% was at the position, a final disposition. Croatia. Let's see. The big quantity of waste that they provoke. 26 in 102%. In Italy, The 90% was landfill, and they have decreased this percentage until it reduced 38%. And we want to reduce right here in 100%. Just relax. Napoleon told us, don't run, we don't have. UK, I have the example, because it's situated at the sixth country in EU to reduce more the garbage waste. The OCDE 2A for 2020 could generate 45% more than 1995, and today it's applying the circular economy model. So this type of economy, it's a change of paradigm. It's not to just turn the page. The states of commission needs to promote different types of strategies. Let's see this another initiative, zero waste. Remove the elimination of waste and the landfills as a technique of management. The zero garbage for me, in a personal opinion, it doesn't exist, because the students that it's right here can see these organizations and will have all the information for the thesis that you are gonna do. So I invite you where the other people don't see. So you are gonna get the solution right there. Don't forget that 39.2% were recycled and 31.3% were deposited in landfills in UAE in 2020. So if people say, I don't have landfill, it's a landfill where I can recover the land. So you can see in blue where is all the deposit on the floor. What happened? We see the Americans right now, and that would talk as the topics. What say that? In GR 85, Fresh Kills was the first prototype to do a landfill. This is garbage. Okay, it was a success to cover as a solution. And the humidals, listen again, humidals were eliminated with waste and a cover of sauce. In that time, it was an ecologist. That's true. Some shy comments. Today, we should have a world war if someone do this. We don't have a protect screen to protect the sea that happened. And it was calculated if the landfill would refer this, Wolfield will be the highest point in all the coast. But listen about this landfill around the world. But it happened on the 11th September, when all the fragments of the buildings were to Fresh Kills. And they discovered right there that were human rest in Fresh Kills. It was the coverture of landfill, and today are working to try to identify. They estimate that more than 4,000 people were disappeared and probably on the landfill. And for that, we should create a monument in French Kills and not more garbage right there. Let's see what happened with the waste. What is right now? That is the feed. And that is increasing the organic material. Where is it? Where is the buffet of the planet? Almost 1/4 of feed, of cereal, of milks, fruits. Don't even get to the final customer. 89 tons per capita are the average in Europe. almost 1,000 million people can't eat, don't feed enough. 1,000 people sleep without feeding. And we're speaking about the garbage increasing by food 1,300 millions we throw in garbage, and we protest against the landfill that has gas. We couldn't give 2020, the first COVID-19 year, 127 kilograms were generated for each person. The 45% were waste that lost. Today, United Nations believe the refrigeration chain will let us the opportunity and give us time to share the world and countries who don't have enough food. And as a consequence, we will left to provoke more garbage. The countries could save more than 134 millions of tons of feed. The waste of food will increase if we increase our population. In 2020, almost 3,100 million people couldn't get us feed. We have another problems like Ukraine that provoke us an additional problem with the feed security. And this inform us tells us that 144 millions we can save. How can we solve this? Meanwhile, this modest landfill that work, that creates and could be improved. And believe me, this is one of our engineers to do it. That apparently looks, but when I want to speak about the landfill, a problem appears. Do I have a control about it? Manuals, biological, mechanical. Do I have? I can't believe that. When this landfill burn, the contention of lectures fires. Today, it works with a pluviometry in the order of 2,000 meters per year. 2,000 meters per year. This is another landfill in Urbaster. I had the opportunity to select the territory and to do the first research in Chile and to have my first 3 best students in front of this landfill projected to 50 years. And more time for that. Santiago Poniente. A landfill of 3 tons per day, that all the landfills that will be are not still that landfills, and the price that it has can be traded the percolate liquids. And this one that was a surprise for me of 2 girls, Martuca Cifuentes, how they achieve to manage this landfill with the weather conditions that they have there in Pasto. I can't believe that because it's a suicide to do something like that. How to speak about Hong Kong, that I have prepared a student for do that for 7 years. La Paz, Bolivia. The controls, let's see, are impacts. But who has a contention that is better that don't have anything? The connectivity, the topography. No, the stars say you have to get together different municipalities. People don't know how to do the link between 3 or 4 majors. It's almost impossible sometimes. Landfill, like Chile, and like we use for a lot of quantity. This is my experiment in Madrid with the slang's enterprise. Our link with the enterprise was fine, with a lot of density, low infiltration. It doesn't generate, don't contaminate, don't pollute. We can recover land, and when it rains, I have my back. And like this built in the landfill in Valencia. Leon was more right there. They imitate the Sweden, and the only thing that they got, they could increase the temperature right there. This is my box that just ruined for 8 years, and it was finally what I got. That after 8 years, I could have bought this passive and to get this waste. We define it as a reactor for the maximum quantity of biogas maintaining the stability conditions, like this landfill that it's 70,000 canalans in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Easily to avoid pollution with methane. Even Udmarsen, to get the energy quote, they have put solar panels because we have some panels because it lost efficiency and we must clean it. KBM, it has this electricity treatment. It creates 21 megas. You can see the 10 units with that, like nominal power. And those things that appears that we don't want to take in account, you don't know how the efficiency it is. And here in Colombia, I have known a lot of it because it can give a great resolution. And we have tried the mechanical ones. This is the top in Germany. We have worked right there for 2 years and we arrived to there in 28. But it doesn't work right now. This works with resources. Probably if we were in Europe, we will have a subsidy. But right now, it costs. And how much do we pay? Do you know how much do we pay? It costs. The uncontrolled landfill. Well, you have seen this. Chureca, Managua. Spain gave 3 million of euros, and with the universities, they closed the landfill. She lived 21 days inside the landfill, and students were sensibilized to recover the landfill, and today it's a park. We didn't do the enough study to do it. It can be better, but with 30 euro millions that it's not easy to get it, we can solve the problem. Brazil, it has more than 50,000 childs living right there. And though these ones are characteristics without waterproof, that we have close, cert, but we don't waste doing a good landfill, we must to do it. We don't know how many are. In order of 4 million people. But it's an economy of people working right there in landfill. But meanwhile, Latin America, we have to recognize that we have improved. If you see some years ago, Can you see how can improve? Right here we have a lot of workers, directors, and people that have planified about it. And we need to think more about it. Between 20 to 2010, the landfill increased. They passed from 22.6% to 54.4%. If a country has the total contention, they can do the next step. So the countries that just jumped, they had to come back. I have just listened about a little interesting data. The advancements that Colombia has had are very interesting, and that we must be careful about it is when landfill at the end, I can care about it. The average of a landfill are between 7 to 10 years between where I find the place, when I have all the authorizes, the resources. The last one, that it's managed another Colombian company in Puerto Moro in Chile, financed by German bank. Currently, it works an excellent landfill. Let's see in Colombia. It says in Colombia we have controlled landfill and are very interesting data and relevant. The garbage residual levels, we have a little depth. This is to 2021 what's happening in Latin America. We are so bad. No, but we can improve a lot. We can improve a lot. And I'm gonna tell you of who can help. On hand of all of you that you are listening. We don't need more less that ask from house to do the good things. If we need to do, probably we need to get more passive recoveries. This was my first picture in color in GR72. I had to get my career in color. It was funny. I came back to Chile and I did the close of landfill. This landfill, 30 with 25 meters, and it was the first landfill where we got gas. We just improved the gas of the city, like this. We close, and today is like this, even with gas on the ventilation. Where the perimeter it was poor population with high risk. What we do? We prepare them to do jardinery, and today it's the downtown of the city. And there I can show you of how we came back to the city. What we have just said that it was a landfill. I never thought the palms in a landfill. This gave us the European award. Today, this person that you are looking is the King of Spain for this project. But also Colombia you have. And this shirt day, I see in the Dreamers Park when we for was this, and when I visited is this next to the school. When for the last time, the Collazo T-shirt next to the mayor doing the inauguration of this project. But also we have the Technological Park of Antanas, a worldwide example of how we can recover an ecosystem. We have to work more. We have to show the good things again too. This is the Madrid project. This is the project that I did in Switzerland. All of them are different with different resources, but in engineering, we have to think. Do you know what means engineering? In 2 words, solve problems. That's the grace. Solve problems. My idea is always to get this to this. Will be the end of the landfills? No, I believe not. Always we are gonna need And I see and I see and I think and I worry of it and I see a lot of things that we don't need to reach. Hundreds of food and feed, and Spain is changed. The stamp, the end of consumption for a stamp, apt, and the measure, it's close. The expedition date, it was a recommendation. Let's see what we learned of the landfill, what we have environmental security technicals, criteria and sanctions, and the only objective it has is the sanitary contention, but we must be careful to design, build, operate, to redesign the cubic meters, the structural analysis of the different boxes, how are, but we can do the same with resources, with our objective, with our goals, our waterproof, how it's the Aguasinia landfill, what we have learned about the Albertes in the United States, and we have to see how it's going to evolutionate in time. How can I get this passive environmental passive? And we need to know, and I have put this, we have to investigate, to research, and I'm very glad that currently, today, I have an Colombian engineer that I have allocated to speak, sharing opinions, and very type of professionals. In Europe, we together, Joseph Fourier, Edinburgh, and Schmidt, the Catholic University, Southern Delft, and Federal Pernambuco University, and we did and we did a group and studied something elementary to just get the garbage and to put together. What did we study? We studied the complex thing that you can't imagine when you put together different type of elements, the organic quantity of feed, of material. What can I do with it? Well, let's do a balance about the solid, liquid, and the gas station. But we can put this together and how it's the behavior of heat. How is the composition? I have a big problem with heat. In addition, I have the infiltration that provokes the percolated liquid today. And it appears a new science from the year 16th that taught us how to. So we did equations of balance to know what we had there. And finally we got to sanitary minery. But what we are doing right that, I have to tell you, have to do it. So let's do this to recover. Is it worth? For me, it wasn't. But what it was, that I have a good land where the land doesn't exist. The recovery land, it's like gold. And for that, this type of landfill born. And I want to represent these big things in the small thing. How can I do this? So I studied simulation. That small thing that I have here to represent. How can I see the sentence? How the chemical reaction. I do an example of how it's working. I want to study the illustration. Let's see. And I can to show us how it's working the landfill. And in this way you will see if I have the enough stability. There you have. You can do right now. The students can see and do this forecast and look how it behaves. You should to research. We need to continue working with it. If you would like to know more about this simultaneous forecast, to know if the stability is a no, there is my landfill. A lot of time again because I have my black hair enough. The only landfill that I designed in Spain, but where we did a lot of researching and when we form a lot of students that uh, it has been well that all my students have learned a lot, and today we can calculate the parameters, and today we can do different type of laboratories, and you can do it again too. It's in your reach. How is the biogas? How much we generate of biogas? How can I recollect how it migrates? How can I measure the saturation of this type of liquid? Saturation liquid, and it burns a new thing, lixic gas, because it's comprobated that both react together. And so I can be sure that this type of equations. Currently, the Dr. Google will show you the solution of these equations. The teachers in function of what type of waste that I have. It's not the same just have organic material or paper. Let's see. And what happened right now? How can I simulate this? How can it behave of the water? Like this is working. How the belly move it's growing, how it's working inside of it. That is the key of how the less quantity of percolate liquid. So how can I manage? I'm gonna do and develop hydrology evaluation models. And you will see right there how it works. And now how it's working. And now that when you have a situation like this, we have a high risk because the liquid it's inside the landfill and it can finish in an earthquake. And I came with Charanulu to see what's happening with Doña Juana. He told me in a silent voice, just pray. So I just stay with that formula, pray. We can't do anything more. Just to migrate to a diffuse immigration. How is the behavior of this diffuse immigration? She covered a lot. But the Lixigas, we don't know if it works, but we are gonna do this. Let's see. That is the Lixigas. And there's a Lixigas that we can get because we can't more than a 60%. No. The 40% it's by diffuse to the atmosphere. So the compost works for it? Yes, it works. I'm showing how it works and how it get the land. Herman looked at me to say, teacher, where are you gonna finish the book? We don't have enough time. The crash speaks. And the more thing that you can do is go to a landfill and see the cracks. The cracks can show us to let us to interpret them to know if it's gonna be a collapse. And of course, I have to put right here Doña Juana, that taught us a lot. And it has been a lot of similar events. The last event that we have was in Chile. What happened here? We have a little earthquake. Felicitation that we have right there. So you don't really know what headache that all companies have because they have to finance in this type of landfills. Oscar told me how the social ideas that we need to put to help, and it was born because the space it was methane gas, so the landfill was burned. Just the sections that were right there, the other just burned. Imagine that they wanted to evacuate Santiago. The Germans do very well with welcome t-shirt. And here we use the mix 321 and it works very good. I don't know why they don't do this because it's not so aggressive and the machinery can works less. So now that people is not seeing, just mix, but the landfill just speaks after. Alpacoma. How it works is happening right there in Bolivia, so near to the cities. Let's see the crack that happened. The three operators that fortunately died right there. And we have in the Santiago's landfill. We need operators. In future, what do I recommend for you? Just specialize in monitoring, charge proof, size separations, restoration, and I have a good outcomes about it. I just have to about the liquid without saturation. 40,000 liters. The rest of it, we build a lixic viaduct that goes until the plant. Like this, we can regulate, manage the percolate liquid on this way to get to the treatment plant. Take care. The pressure is it's we have to let breathe. Do you see? We have to let the landfill red because under the land we have 60-80 degrees, but the pressure when we get the gas we must be careful with it. I have time. I'm happy with you guys. What can we do with this? The wheels, what can we do with wheels? The people say that are waste, but what can we do with this? This is the cap to protect. But this outcome has been wonderful, and it gives us wheels. The reinsertion of aerobics landfills, we inject oxygen. It looks dangerous. If you read this document, you are gonna see a lot of important information. This was the first one what we did. We're deep with inclinations and to inject air to accelerate all the process. How she did? Just to inject malcolite and to try accelerate the recollation that allowed to increase the degradation speed of material organic that we got there. And this way she recollected and just recirculated. She got a great outcome and she could simulate how the organic material was this stability. This is how the simulation was in a real way how it works. The oxygen has the consumption of it. Why do I want to know it? Because I'm gonna get the aerobia phase. If you do the analysis, you will get the metagenic stage, and I will see how is the behavior of the oxygen consumption, and I will calculate the life cycle and how I'm inside the landfill, and to be sure that I'm doing a great job with this project. How is the consumption of the organic material? And this is a graphic that we are seeing of an American enterprise. So, what's the future of landfills? Landfills 3.0. That's the great future of landfills today. Let's see of this data. The treatment in Chile, the cost they pay between 8 to 14 euros per ton. And they said that we must treat the liquid solid to pay all the issues that I have. Waste to energy, 8 euros per ton of it. The compost, 50 euros per ton. I can't believe that compost. Everyone said that all material organic, it's compost. Take care. In Europe, the plant that we have and the small ones that we have, all that is inside the 30% we have put it. Where can we put all of this? How can I manage it? The half in Chile we collected what he learned how could be compost. Let's see. It's not easy to do compost. To do compost, we have to educate, and I'm gonna show you more. This is my Santander landfill. The País Vasco said no more landfills, and I rejected that I do with it. Please, could you receive it? Who can receive it? This. They broke 18 millions per ton, and it was the price that we paid, and it was what we paid. Someone paid 94 euros per ton. This is the correct price to work a landfill. Let's see a bit. At the beginning, we start in Murcia, the maroon box. To what? Just to have the organic material. But we need to know what material organic we can deposit right there. More than 12,000 families in Bilbao at the use of this type of maroon box. I did a project with a Chilean student where we have taken some uh, quantity of buildings and we are gonna just take the organic materials and the weight who is gonna take the recyclators, people that have to be organized and that will have this opportunity to manage a dry material that has work. Don't tell me when I'm gonna do this in the landfill. How many people are gonna do it right there? Nothing. Could be wonderful things, but it has a cost. The alternatives always be here, and I'm gonna put it as a reference. If I want to recycle between 24 to 80 euros per tunnels, biodigestation between 7 sanitary landfill between 11,173 euros per ton. And the energy? Ah, I have a landfill of 100 tons of waste. You need more volume to get energy, and you need more technology to do it. Try to accelerate to stability to be a passive environment. Stress. Recent, a colleague told me that it's gonna be a pilot program with another types of clean energies. Hydrogen. I hope to see this pilot and to be sure how energy it spent. For me, I think that it's very important the selective pickupping. Bimodals vehicles. Today we have. Today we have lateral storage, but we also have the back storage. The China in China are working. The only thing that I know is how to translate that. But okay. She has done inert waste, and she's working with liquids and to get a stability of it with cover and with ceiling. Imagine landfill with ceilings. I can't imagine about it, but in China they do interesting things. Meanwhile, Colombia has a lot of improvements. They have red circle economies. We just confront with Chile. Who could do this first? They can build a lot this road plan. Don't forget the biomimesis. Do you think this is new, right? But it has more years than cow. Or how do you think that the airplane is born? Look in the nature, the same that we are gonna do with biomimesis. The analysis of life cycle. Substitute critic organics to limit the sure. There you can see today to help this changement to the landfills will survive, but for that it's very important the territorial planification where we are gonna do be in the next 50 years. Everything is gonna be in the plan. We need to know each place where it's gonna be in the territorial plan. You have a planification ministry here in Colombia that is an example for the world. Please remember that sanitary engineering you must to planificate with long time. The key is right there. In the organic fraction management, the other things just respond. Why do what does it respond? I don't know if you read Cristina Continas, the mom, an important teacher of ethic. She just wrote a book of consumption ethic, and she said, "In our hands is the destiny to change the world." If we wouldn't like that Coca-Cola exists, probably they just reinvent. go to the supermarket today and say that I'm an ecologist, it's very complicated to take the bottle in this way. The original package will be original. So for that we must to think. It's not about technology, just that it's bad chosen. Just try to think that the best tool, that the only tool that you never lose, that will be always in your mind, will be the education. Just buy and plan, and when you see that you can't pay the energy, the plant will die. When I educate, it never lost. Switzerland, the country in the world that arrived without much technology, it just arrived with the recovery through the education. Resources, technicians, politics, volunteer, education. This is the circle. Education, education, education. My question is, why do I want to get two after that separate? No, teacher is because the plan do everything. Okay, you just pay 10 euros per month and I do this plant. That's the problem of the major. But the major where can find more resources? Why? Why do we need to put together if after that we need to separate? That is the key. It's in your hands. The solution. This country has all the conditions to overpass and to see what good we have done and how teachers have learned and teach and see and tell how Colombia has doing a good way. So in this relation between a state, university, society relationship, and this coalition that allow me to discuss, to have a conversation, when a politic says I'm I'm against there, I just say okay, don't breathe more. So recycle, incorporate values, habits, and conducts to the community through environmental education with just the objective to promote the good organic waste. Don't forget the education and training and environmental training. It's a step to conserve this planet. Thank you. Thank you very much. This is Marcel. Thank you so much. Of course, I want to let you go because I know that right now we have different type of questions. Let's see to receive some questions that are gonna be answered by Mr. Welcome, Miss Nerisol. Thank you, a very great man, especially greeting for all the people. In our hair has arrived with our illustrious Mr. Marcelo. Has arrived through Urbaser. Thank you so much, Urbaser, to bring us this investigator that we realize the exactitude about his experience. You told about a possible age. You don't have age. You are just starting your young because everything will be in the eternity. You talked about the circle economy. You talked about education. That's the topic that as the academics talk about. Everything about education. That is the path, the way to transform to become every change the best tool you highlight in your exposition, your presentation. We have learned a lot, and the best tool is education. You spoke about the schools, about the university, about the state and university to conform an alliance to, and are surrounding the education. All of us, the teachers, the academics, want to add a question in schools. The education must be like a circle, exactly as the circle economy. The circle education starts in home. The second one is high school, and after that the college. After that, the enterprise and the rest of the project. So we want to advise in academic way that here in Tunja and Boyaca, to arrive are educating firstly the in a pedagogic way to our childs to arrive to the young universities, but the real fit that you are gonna get it's with the childs, and we spoke sometimes about it, this necessity, but we need to reach this urgently because all the technique and with all the research that you have done of a lot of people, it's amazing. But the education, it's simple. Reach to childs, it's simple, as you has reached to us. Thank you. I really appreciate your comments. Don't forget the technology, it's supporting us. It's a tool. I I imagine a challenge that we did in Spain. Uh, I I remember if we do a congress just for child, I will come here to help you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Marcel, thank you so much for the knowledge that you are transmitting to us. Thanks to your bastard for this international meeting. I have a simple question for you. The garbage and the waste it's around the world, but the problem is how the treatment of it and the final disposal of it. It says that the economist that garbage is a capital that people don't appreciate because it has a lot of money that we can save in garbage or waste. Even if it's not a plastic, all say that it works. If is it true, what will be the punctual philosophy to be sustainable? A landfill as Pirwa that don't have the big landfill that has the Doña Juana landfill. Thank you so much for your comment. The landfill will be the cemetery to protect of 22 sickness. I couldn't live without them. After they rejected that it's right there, the garbage is not riches. The people who believe that garbage they will be richness, they have been wrong. The garbage it's social, it's environmental. As I should tell, a friend who has told me, Marcel, you must to live with less but better. And he is right. We have another question. Good afternoon. I trust Marcel. Yeah, I have the confidence. For me, this is the Mister of Mister. I have the great advantage to work with him in American Latin American project. And if something has put us together, it's about environmental education. And I have learned about him something that I want to share with you that maybe he didn't highlight in this topic called as bad garbage. It's because it's a civilizatory construct and cultural, and I wouldn't say it's civilizatory. All the contrary, we have to promote, and to promote. And I always will have like as your maximum learning. Thanks to you, a Colombian teacher, John, that has all their ideas in a university, and I learned something about him. We have to put diet all the landfills. Thank you, and we are continuing working to the United Nations, and we hope that the students in your university and this university they link and work with the great link Marco Tulio. Okay.
de la asistencia a este segundo encuentro internacional de gestión de residuos en tiempo de cambio climático. Entonces pueden irlo escaneando mientras resolvemos la última pregunta que vamos a dar espacio. Recuerden que todas las preguntas que ustedes tengan y le entregan a nuestro equipo de logística serán resueltas en el micrositio web de este evento.
All the questions that you will have is going to be answered in the microcycle that we have in our website. Personally, I would like to do a little homage. Personally, I would like to take advantage to do a tribute to my colleague. I'm also Chilean. From Chile, I'm coming to you to see you, and I couldn't be grateful of you. But I want to share with you about Marcelo that has he's a fireman in Chile. What I wanted to say it's something that you don't know about Marcel. He is volunteer fireman, a very prestigious institution. He has more than 50 years helping the community. He is benevolent citizen. He represents one of the most important institutes in Chile, and this that he has just presented to you is just the characteristics of this. As a colleague, as a partner, I want to grateful to you and to do this little tribute for you as a student, as a colleague. Thank you so much, Marcelo. Thank you so much. Just let me to comment the anecdote. I'm a volunteer fireman, more than 50 years, but now I'm I'm a teacher. Always he gives his life of the life, but in the dictator time, I put together all the shells and I tell I want prevention agents because they don't have to use. So with a fry, we create a group of 15 agents and spontaneously they wanted to be firemen. And after 40 years from the institution, in life they have a fireman institution that has my name. And I'm really excited about it. Yes. We did a tribute on this morning, and we are gonna do another on the afternoons. So please, a big clap to Marcelo of your life proposed hour and what you have done for humanity. Thank you so much. God bless you.
A usted, presidente.
Thank you so much.
Bendiga,
And the Father prolong your existence and your knowledge won't be the years of the years, but will be the years of your heritage that we need here, that we are sharing with you as Surbaser in association with all entities that we are today with this proposal for you, because really the speakers will be and are amazing. This is a great gift, free, without cost, and also testimony of the social responsibility that assists a company that looking for the conscious of the environment. Thank you so much, and that be the moment to give us a great clap for Urbaser for this great meeting.
Por supuesto, maestro, muy emocionada
Mister,
con todas las ponencias que hemos tenido
we are
desde
very
hoy.
excited about all the speakers, but we don't have finished our emotions. Our national speaker, it's in the same level to our international speakers. For that, I would like to invite you, Angie Cadena. She is our leader. She's José Alejandro Sepúlveda is our national guest. Is gonna speak about the global warming thematic and waste using the circular economy as solution. I have the pleasure to present and to introduce Jose Alejandro Martinez, doctor candidate in management of UN University, magister in environmental and chemical engineer of Universidad Nacional de Colombia, diplomate in environmental education, certificate in innovation and entrepreneur, and in solid waste management. He also works with Sustainability Association and member of ISWA, International Solid Waste Association. He makes part as a member, as a directive of CCCS, as board director of SPPAR. He is an entrepreneur. He has created 3 companies during his professional career, and he has working as a researcher and teacher in an university, and he has written more than 7 books. Welcome, Alejandro Engineer. Really, it's very difficult after the last conference, and an honest when I will bring you to compliments that Mr. Marcel that we have worked together. So we are gonna compliment on this way. We are gonna speak on a specific thematic that, as for me, that complement this event, and is the relation about climate change and the waste. For this, it's gonna and about the proposal, as Marcel tell us, how the circular economy could be a path, a bridge, an alternative to advance in the change climate. Speaking about waste.
Máster, por favor, nos colaboras con la presentación en pantalla.
We have spoken about waste, and in the context that Mr. Marcelo spoken before, we have to start, in fact, of waste concept that is all that we have childs that it's here, make us a card, just color drawing, just cut. But for me, that's wonderful. It's the beautiful thing. It's art for us, and that is the relative of the waste. The waste depends of who generates the owner, but at the same time, something that is artificial, even more artificial as the waste as sound. If it is sees a value chain, if a waste that maybe you can think that can be take advantage of it of a commercial context maybe couldn't ease. I will say 15 years ago it arrives a lot of quantity of PET. PET, polymerics material, it's nice because it has a big value, but the amber color is discriminated. Why? Because its characteristics physiochemics don't allow to become as a bottle or is another thing. It crystallized and we couldn't mineralize. It has a series of issues complicated. A lot of they are using for another stuff like for swipes. Even the plastic material it didn't exist a value chain garbage. And it's incredible how and it says Marco Tullio. The waste topic it's an invasion of us because in nature it doesn't is it isn't a waste it are materials and we can transform or becoming the materials can permit to make amazing things as Marcelo showed us or doesn't do amazing things as Marcelo showed us. There is a key element that Mr. Marcelo told us. It's about the population, about the cities, about the no separation. All of these elements and tools are indexed with about healthy, how can I manage that? And in this perspective, we are in front of some situations that put in risk the planet, the world. That's what that we said. We are gonna save the environment. We are gonna save the planet. No, we are just building some life conditions that don't allow us to live and another species too. But as we are egoists, we believe and just one in us, and we are creating some ecological crisis, ecosystemics, some weather issues that put us to think if we can reach to 2015, maybe we won't be a lot of time. But the real issue is that life conditions for us and the other people that are part for 8,000 millions be the adequate, and that is the complexities, not taking in account the other species, animals, vegetables. In this line, when we start to observe what do we must to do, how we can arrive here to the Anthropocene, we are speaking about an age and the human has created a human age like millions of years ago, like glaciations, like the aster that had us, our way to consumption. It's taking us to a radical way in natural systems that we have altered a lot. And it's just to see our rivers, the pictures, the garbage that is there in the cities. It's just to observe this type of examples that we have here on media, on the communication mediums, did you see tons of parts of sharks and thinking that these shark parts are adhering naturally by the sharks, but the sharks are not right there. We are killing. It's sad. This is the way how we are consumption and creating, and unfortunately, in this line, how we, the way it's necessary that we change, that we migrate. We have arrived in a point where we give a name. We call the linear economy. The only place where we get resources to satisfy our necessities are the planet. We haven't explored the moon, another planet, just the world or the planet where we live right now. But we have become an experts to create new services, new productions to be an a consumption society and to generate this type of resource waste. And we're a machine to do this day by day, always by always. And like this, there is no planet that has enough sensitivity and losing the value. For example, a piece of paper. Imagine a kilogram of paper. Imagine we have 1 kilogram are 2 resmas. How much for 1 resma? How much it is for 1 resma? 15,000. 50,000 is the average price. Even more. It means that 1 kilogram it's 1 kilogram will be 30,000. I use this type of paper to do a job, just to draw. I just want to print, and after that, I'm gonna put in container, and after that, I put this one to recycle because I'm a citizen, a cottage citizen. How do you think that they are gonna pay me for this, for the same kilogram? 800, 900. Sometimes it's less. Imagine. Just stays with 2000. Something that much 30,000 and the end of the line lose value and just end in 2,000, 3,000. But it's okay. It's okay because I'm recycling. I'm not saying that recycling is bad, but recycling is just a part, a piece of everything we have to do. Our frameworks and our models of advantage is that all the resources lose value because as is garbage doesn't happen anything. So for that we're believing that. So the richness it's in the garbage. So if because if we lose this, it means different factors. And normally it worth more than 10 pesos. And additionally, with a model where the social actors, the private actions, the city and the publics are in the same soup. We have looked in this in different circumstances that the micro chain to take advantage of waste it's absurd. Unfortunately, the biggest values aren't in the actors that do this micro recovery. Maybe they are in another side. Maybe the cake is small and they divide in a wrong way. So I'm just gonna take a piece. And if to this we add another type of elements, I don't want say here we have to defend the plastic. The plastic is not Lucifer. The plastic is a very good material that it wasn't being worked in a good way. Who imagine to use this if they are gonna use for just 1 minute and it's a waste of 200 years? But imagine if I create plastic boxes to use 200 years, it will work. Unfortunately, this concept of consumption and to produce without conscience about our impact is generating. The strategy Spain is a spy conservancy model. In that line, in Vietnam, exercise in Cartagena and Buenaventura to look how the plastic improved rate increase next to the beach, and each time that they pick up next to the beaches, they say that they get a lot of tons. The results are different. This is not the solution, just clean. It's to the winner is gonna be the smartest using in a best way this type of materials like plastic. But I don't have logic if I clean each month. It doesn't have logic if I bet to put in danger the house of different species. That overwhelm the ecosystems. Even this graphic, it's not enough because as you entity, this is like a credit card. If we have a budget, and imagine the budget is of 5, and each month I pay and I defer for 12 quotes like this and like this each month by 12 quotes. So we don't have the capacity to pay. We just fly. We are just playing like this because we want equilibrium and we are living a crisis. So this is the entry to the change climate. The Climate Reality Project is our organization. It's a co-founder of vice president, ex-president, and we have been working almost 120,000 people. But we have been working in a environmental climatic project because it's the context of what we are doing right now. This is our atmosphere. Anyone knows how wide is our atmosphere? Anyone knows? 1,000 kilometers, 2,000 kilometers, any number. It has less than Bogota kilometers. Are 90 kilometers. In 90 kilometers, we have the atmosphere, the nice sky that we are seeing right now. And right there, thanks to this atmosphere, we have had the environment to let us develop. Thanks to this atmosphere, we have water, we have a lot of things. And this atmosphere is a mix between different type of gas, particular way. Like this, they protect us from the cold and they give us hot for us. Nevertheless, giving this example to the planet, what does this atmosphere zone? They protect us from the solar thunders and to maintain a constant temperature. What's happening right now? Unfortunately, we come for an aggressive way, adding systematically gases everywhere in each moment, and it started to move the equilibrium that we have in our atmosphere. And what happened? It creates a condition that we don't have the stability. So if we maintain more gases, we are putting and we are adding more degrees as a consequence of these gases. For example, the landfills, all the biogas that are provoked of don't maintain stability, and of the quantity of to Colombia, the main gas is the change in the land. The waste is not a lot. This is small, but the change of use of landfill, forest to agricultural, and other type of lands, it's affecting us. In some researches, what can you realize? Go down, go up, go down, go up, go down. This is the CO2 concentration. Unfortunately, in the last 200 years, it has increased a lot, like it never has happened before. This is an issue, a real problem that we have because we are pointing more that the environment can resist. So we can see the difference of historical temperatures is that each decade, each average of the year, it's increasing. And it's going far off the normal average that we have. This is what it refers to 1.5. We are right here. The last assessment says that we are very close to 1.5. What's the problem? That after that of those levels happens things that we don't know what could happen because our tools couldn't say and couldn't do forecasts of what will happen. We are just walking in an automatic pilot. We are walking blind and don't know where we are gonna be. The temperatures are increasing. When it happens, the people start to see the real problem because they don't have enough water. They are tired. Here in Colombia, the picture shows that they have changed a little, but this has increased. So here we are showing how it works, and the pictures shows that probably this is gonna be the graphic that you will see, and it's complex because we have a lot of red zones. 2 degrees are not much. It's average. It's an average. The peak, the peak of a day is average. But imagine this: we can find of 25 February, 28 degrees more hotter. So yeah, 28 degrees is too much because the ice start to becoming water. We have to change the ducks from dolphins to start to move, and the wind directions start to change. For example, in the northern hemisphere, when the the cold happened in a season where it wasn't be normally, and it looks what it starts to melt. What happened with all of this melt? It goes to the beach. But what happened with the sea? When we start to adding more water, the levels of the water start to increase, and all the coast cities start to see that. So we have a real problem with our coast cities. If you don't see here in the picture, we can see an octopus. The big problem is that a lot of 8,000 millions of these live in the coast, but more of all of the 40 people live in coast cities. So if the level of water increase, this type of populations they will be affected. So this about people and these inactives. So we will have different types of consequence of destructions of bills, and we can see this in Colombia as the girl phenomenon that happened. Yesterday I listened about we don't understand how in a country as Colombia it's natural that we close mainstreams as a consequence of climate change. How do you manage that? But a fraction is that the 93% the water is hot water promote that hurricanes start to become more unpredictable according to the routes and the change of states. For example, if it's a tropical, start to become a hurricane type 3, something that happened in 8, 10 days. Right now it's happening just in few hours. For this, the hurricanes, the typhoons in Pacific Sea are the main affectations because when a hurricane arrives in a population, there is no how to stop the hurricanes when this type of phenomenon happens. It just happens. Hotter water provokes evaporation. The cycle is just one. All the water that melt is circling and start to happen this type of phenomena. And the raining phenomenon says that in some minutes just get in the rain that must happen in a week, it just happened in 5 minutes. That is the Renos aqueduct that can support that. And if we didn't do a good planning of that, we will have another raining problems and bigger episodes that provokes floods. In my master, they taught me how to plan about the maximums of precipitations in the area, but now it's not right here because we have higher precipitations than before, and it happens along and every part of the world. Is just look, just look tonight the news, because unfortunately we are living a winter season that apart to provoke damnifications it get dies casualties. But if a life we lost a life, there is no solution for it. We have the Andes that they divide by three. We have a cracked geography with mountains. We have a different type of ecosystems and different streets that are next to our mountains. This episode never happened, but this episode was epic here in Bogota. People that it's not loaded with ice, they started with ice. It was an illogic thing. Just the car was stuck in traffic, and after that happened. But it starts to appear, and in a second count the size of the ice. But not just so. Also, waves of cold, for example, this can finish the work of a farmer in 6 hours, the work of a farmer that has working there for 1 year. And the issue is that about precipitations, we are gonna change, and in some regions, we will have more precipitations. For example, in Guajira, we will have a lot of precipitations than now. It's not just the raining, the hurricanes, it's also the bomb forest, it's also the dry seasons. It's because these temperatures dry not just the water, but also the land. It dries rivers. It makes more complex the life of people. A city with 1 million without water, as says Marcel said, praying for water, and it happened to Ciudad del Cabo in South Africa. They almost have a lack of water textuality. It's more recurrent to happen these sunburns. We have some territories that happen like this in Toledo, Spain. But when it happens with more temperature, we just the phenomenon extent it arrived to countries. And if we add and if we give a hand to this type of antinatural ticks, for example, the Amazon that help us to regulate the temperature of the world is the thermostat. But this is what controls the water that we get here. Even putting in risk conditions as the air that we have in the cities. For example, the wine routes go to Bogota. In year 2018, we required to 9 pesos millions of air sickness, 9 billions of pesos, and it still happens. And the pollution, it's also not just for the cars, for the vehicles, it's also for the burners of Amazon, the global warming, the food storage makes more difficult and makes more cost and change the characteristics of food less less nutritive. The plants get stresses as the same as the humans. And in terms of health, the climate change start to create bigger problems, not just the people that ate of died by lack of water, but we have another tools as allergens in health, as for example sickness as chikungunya. They start to spread different type of state walkers. For example, the malaria. Imagine Tunjar Bogota live with malaria problems. That's an extreme sickness, but malaria is arriving to 1,800 meters. Before it was 1,500. 49% percent of sea animals has disappeared less than 50 years. In this cycle, we have the risk to lose the 50% of all the land species. And why? Because we are changing the their environment. If it will be slow, they probably could adapt. But our it's like the metaphor that when you this happens is because we don't have the give the opportunity to adapt to the animals, the frogs, for example, because the changings are very fast. And imagine that we have in Colombia a lot of biodiversity right here. Then all of climate change is a topic of a lot of money that we invest. We try to change with time to promote, but it's a very big problem that we can't put it just to a side. Some governments didn't realize about this problem if we don't put in numbers. So, can we change? Yeah, we can do it. We have the technological solutions according to different type of energy, as aeolic energy, and a lot of countries they are doing in a Europe context. The aeolic energy is working, but for example, right here more. We have more and more projects here in Colombia that they are building in a some stage to try to get advantage resources not conventional of renewable energy like solar energy. It can supply us energy and projects that are starting to get better and bigger than before. In Colombia, this is the our first solar farmer, but after this, we have built like a country, a big quantity. Now we have 5% of just photovoltaic, and it just 4 years ago just one and less of 1%. And now we are gonna have hydrotangua, so we are gonna depend this type of hydroelectric, but we are creating more and more projects to get maybe in a scenario before 5 years from 12% from non renewables energy. We have steels, another types. For example, the examples also are that companies are working for it, the schools, the universities, the college, the scientifics. Then everyone is helping about. So do we have do we need to do the same? Yes, we need to do it. Yeah. Probably you have listened about this a lot. From the Compass 3872, we have to start to thinking about how to create the restoration of the social capital, the way as we produce and how we consume. Thinking about that we don't have to promote the waste. The materials are so scarce that we have to take advantage and the best utility of it. It shouldn't lose in each moment. So I'm not speaking about waste. I'm speaking about material resources. So the biologic, compost reactors, bioreactors, classification, but the inorganic too. And it start to appear to repair, refactor, to rebuild, to repotentialize all the arts that you can imagine. Because to recycle put less value. We have to recognize the power of diversity. The best coffees in Colombia and worldwide are in a slow and in a small farmers that are near to different species, and this ecosystem is full of smells. And just, for example, people that know of coffee really appreciate this. The nature don't use oil energy; they just use light. And the nature, it's no simple. Everything is interconnected. So if we don't interconnect, positive or negative, all there are cycles, reutilization, recycle. I try about to get natural sources. So if I give 100 circles, but see, this is from the design. We can do the transit. We can looking for this circle. It's a little more difficult, but we can do it. But the logic is that you take advantage of the design. But how we can do it? Again, if you are gonna do the bottle plastic, so what are you gonna look? You are gonna so what is fulfilling it? We have to change the models, the productive models, and for that, this of the end disposition, even it doesn't end, will always have marginal, but we always will have what we have to promote that this vision change, not just thinking in contamination of sickness. We have to transit and evolutionate to this waste management start to promote sustainability. If you see the laws, we have to see the knowledge and the responsibility, not just the producer, also the customer. It, everyone has told the separation, we have to do it. It doesn't work. It's not just you generate the product and you look great, you know, and you're looking for how it can be used. How can I do this transition from an integral vision? Where can I start to use the resources in a smart way? Just see this image. See where it's recycled. It's not the ideal way. We have to do this transit. We have to way on this path, but it's not the end. It's just a part of the path that we have take. It's just a little part. And in this path, we have a lot of opportunities. Marcela just have showed some, but and I showed another. And the real invitation is that innovation, education show us how can be the better options for us to each type of material, and it needs public work from the governance, the municipalities, the departments of public politics to bet of this, but it also involves a private work because it has to be rethinking to reformulate. It has to promote that problematics like this, like the plastic that has different colors, that I can take advantage of this. How, for example, if I don't use another that can be cleaned with water, or instead of cellulose, or the forest, and on the buildings, can I start to build panels of cellulose that are products that are started and are commercials? Or how can I replace all the boxes of one use of biopolymers? Or how can I change my business models of fulfill? It will be amazing. Instead of paint, we could use paint that captures CO2, and the product it's working right now. And instead of have ecopor, we can use rays of. We have a lot of options to implement, but this type of options provoke challenges, and we have to confront it. It's not easy. It's not an easy way to change, but between public and private, they have to work together. And we as a society, we are vital because we are customers. But for example, if I choose a product or service of a conscious way, I will be doing the change. Away, as Al Mohammed. Away, I develop, but to don't affect the other people, the other species. And in the memories, we will have this type of possibilities to see different type of sources. And I call you and I advise you, the people that are listening this, that we should migrate and work together to rethink how we are our consumption and how we can work together and to maintain our planet life. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much, Jose Alejandro. We know that we have some questions that in the conference they want to do. Our national speaker and the disposition to speak about the waste management, about the climate change. So Angie has our micro to speak all the questions. Okay, I take advantage and I want to ask you. You are our referent here of Colombia, of the exercise that you are doing of the other speakers. How how do we look and how they are looking for us? It's interesting because Collasus was my teacher in National University, and through to him, I met Marcelo and a lot of coincidence, and it's very beautiful this that come to a final disposition waste management action plans and to see 10 years ago how the public politics has to jump, and it's not easy. We have all the issues about the uh, retributions, incentive for the, and they are difficult to apply because we don't know how to do it right now. So it's a long path, but we have to do it. We know that in the new pot, it's this topic. We know that Fede Municipis, Aso Capitales, even ADESCO has been working to promote a new politic that don't be waste but be about resources. Everyone needs to start to speaking about the same language, so we need to speak the same context. So for that, but always we have to take advantage of that because we can waste the resource. Colombia is a place that is just one of those that has a circle economy model. We have been with this strategy more than 4 years because it's very value because it becomes an referent in Latin America. We are fine, not the best, but we are in a good way. I believe that the panorama is positive. We have to continue. We can conform with the what we have right now, but the goals are not recycle, not just recycle. It's just a part, but it's much like this. We have to think the economy green, growing from this. We have a potential of 7 million as economy in Colombia, perfectly in 20 years. So that's money that is right there. And with this, we can avoid this type of problems and issues about climate change that we are living right now. So to don't be pessimists, we have a good futures, but we have to work. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for your conference and presentation. I have a comment for you, or a reflection maybe. As a humans, they are always asking us during thinking in our consumption way, think that we can provide. Because I know that from individuality we are conscious about it. But in a deeper macroeconomic issue, are the big companies aware to re-engineer to change their communication models because it is a good way? Are they aware to do it? Because if we can do, we can just add a little piece of land in economic models. I'm totally agree with you. Thank you so much for the appreciation. What is very interesting is what is happening right now. There are a lot of topics, and I really want to use the examples. But in a big companies, we have different lines. A great investor company 3 years ago, they contract, they hired Nat Geo and did a concourse when they gave 1,500 proposals and they gave 1 million about these proposals with the biggest to promote that this type of proposals will be implementation. Unfortunately, it wasn't a Colombian proposal. It was from other countries. For example, BlackRock, the biggest investor from 2013, they said that if they don't have an environmental proposal, we won't invest in them. For example, Axo Bancar in a local way. From 8 years ago, Green Protocol generate rates, less rates Two, that corporations implement the reduction of environmental gas. For that, I'm putting different type of examples. I would like to do advertising. For example, Unilever are creating products, and we are doing different type of challenge to promote this type. We have, for example, detergents in the market that are just for fulfillment. We have shampoos of the bottles are just from plastic recovered from beach, but are a lot of initiative. But as a customers, we need to promote that. We need more of this type of initiatives and both and buy these ones because the good is the cheap, the bad is the expensive. So we are in that, and we are living in that. So I invite you to do this. When I have the money and I decide where to spend, I have the power. So, as Mr. Marshall told us with the Coca-Cola example, if we don't decide to drink, the company could finish. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Andres Rincon. I come from Bogota City. I was born at the south of the city. I knew the landfill Doña Juana crack, and for that we are a legal disruption against the state. Arrived to Tunja after 4 years to have been living here, and I'm very interested about the experience that I knew here in a Tunja that is a smaller city than Bogota, and is that of some of the assistant event has seen a company of green jacket that arrived to recollect the recycle that we do in our house. I think that they call Reciclar Tunja, and I think that is a very interesting proposal because they dignifies the work that they do. I want to speaking a slang language of us will be a word to take and to conserve the plastic to put food in our table. They understand how this work and this job must to be dignified, and they just door. Our designer do this comment because they go door by door in all the Tunja sectors. We don't have just to see the schedule and the journey that they go, and we just simply separate our resources and give to them what we have recycled. They don't go to put his them hands inside the garbage and just pick up the recycling that we have done. It it was the comment that I wanted to say. And for you, Mister, I'm very interested about how you opened your conference because we are in a linear economy, and it's very interesting that you have told us that because of my own point of view, we can't speak yet about a circle economy because we don't know what is that really. You do this an example and exercise with your family, and it happened to me too. For example, our child, they don't know where the meat comes. Probably if they know, they shouldn't it, wouldn't it probably we don't know the sacrifice and the hard work that people has done in the food and the what we eat day by day. For me, it's very important that you have talk about this topic. That is a very important job to do from our job, and I invite you to know about this, to know about this company. For example, Marco Tulio Tusher has been working in the accident of city, and it has great projects. For example, in Medellin are amazing cases. Sure, that for example, when we are in a big city, for example, in a big city, it's a complex topic to do this type of project. But the most important key is the education and education. Thank you so much.
Aplauso, por favor, para José
And we
Alejandro.
clap for Jose Alejandro. Thank you so much.
Como lo anunciaba al principio
As he said
esta conferencia,
at the
está a la altura
start
nuestro
of this,
ponente nacional.
our
Vamos
national
llegando
speaker,
al final de
we're
nuestra
arriving to the end of our event,
un momento muy especial.
but we would like to have a conversation with our four speakers, which we have learned a lot today. For that, I would like to invite
Que va a liderar el maestro Ricardo.
this conversation that is going to be led by Mr. Ricardo. I want to a great welcome to Telma Sumit. She has done a great effort. They have told me that she's right here. I invite you to go to the scenario. Telma arrives from Bogota. As you realize, she did her conference from Adesco, where we are when we're developing the fifth seminary of waste. I also invite Pietro Lupi, Marcelo Santo, and also Jose Alejandro to share with us in this conversation panel that we will have with Mr. Ricardo. You are gonna close our event with our four great speakers, and to close this event and exchange. Of course, Mr. Ricardo, we are gonna do a dynamic this way because we have had a long day, but for comfort of all that we have lived about experience, and we are do fast close that all know about a generic perspective of the different topics that we have spoken today. So we are gonna not, and tomorrow we will be from our ecological park to be together, everyone, and with the presence of the environmental ministry.
Maestro, mientras tú te acercas al estrado, entonces a esta última sección de nuestro evento del día de hoy, quiero contarles que las personas que quizás no llegaron
I
temprano,
want to
hoy
tell you
hicimos
that
la inauguración
today we did
donde
our
estábamos
inauguration
viendo
about
al
our
símbolo, a la
anthem
labor que hacen más de 2.000 personas en el país
and the work that 2,000 people do of service, environmental service. And I would like to ask you that before to start this panel, please listen our anthem.
Transformando el mañana sobre el alma de la tierra, voy dejando mi huella en el fulgor de la las estrellas.
Protegiendo la esfera, respetando la escarcha, con la siembra amorosa para un bosque de nostalgia.
Deseamos de la entraña, en montañas y valles, hoy va a ser el futuro, el pulmón de los Andes.
Bueno, vamos a iniciar.
Okay, we are going to start in a fast way this conclusion about the topics. We have four great speakers that have been with us exposing their various points, especially about, for example, in the case of Thelma from Brazil, that was in a virtual conference and she traveled to arrive with us. Thank you so much for your effort, and I hope that you have had a good trip. We are very near to Bogota. We are gonna speak about the adaptation of the climate change, about the waste management, because we have experiences and we want to know the how it works, how the landfills works, and that a lot of people that is here are expectant has expectative about this topic of you guys that are the experts. Mr. Telma has some specializations of organic material master. Mr. Lupi from Italy, he's a specialist of recycle population with a success experiences that we spoke about this morning. Mr. Santo, that we did attributes for him for his great intervention about the landfills around the world, and our Colombian speaker, Jose Alejandro, a big clap, Colombian representative here in Colombia. Alejandro Martinez, doctor, that he speak about the circular economy. One by one, we're gonna, from their own point of view, of what do you believe about their experience and knowledge about the adaptability about climate change from the waste management. First, Mrs. Thelma, welcome. Um,
Buenas tardes a todos.
Good afternoon,
Muchísimas
everyone.
gracias por
Thank
la
you so much
invitación
for
a
the
todo
invitation. It's a pleasure
desde Brasil acá.
from Brazil to
Voy a
here.
hacer un poquito de experiencia en Brasil.
Have some experience in
Com
Brazil.
relação ao cambio
According
climático,
the
penso
climate
que
change, I believe,
meu
as
amigo,
my friend
temos
says,
muito buenas
we have
iniciativas,
very good
pero hace
initiative,
mucha falta la
but
inclusão das
we need
iniciativas
the inclusion
em la prática,
of
né?
this initiative in the practice
Tratamento de resíduos
of the
em los municípios.
waste treatment in the
Temos bons
municipalities.
exemplos em
We
São
have
Paulo, pero
good
em
examples in
outras
Sao Paulo,
regiões
but
sabemos
no
que
in another
não
regions
desarrollamos bem
that
ainda.
we don't
Temos
develop.
muito problemas,
We have
tem muito falta de incentivos,
some
tanto de
problems
política,
and also incentives.
há muita falta de investimentos em educação ambiental.
We have lack of investment in
Principalmente
environmental knowledge,
a questão de
mainly about the
orgânicos,
organic management problematic of source segregation
por trazer muitos problemas para
that bring us a lot of problems
como se dice, los sucesos de los tratamientos en Brasil.
of the success of the
Creo que
in Brazil economy.
principal mudança, eu espero que seja
So the main
en la educación,
change that we need, I hope that be on the school.
Estou em uma correria. Creio que hace tiene que ser una prioridad.
I think that it must be a priority. The management. We can live
Una prioridad para la cuestión
to
de
create
tanto municipal, estadual, en el gobierno federal.
a issue in a government federal and the incentives from part of the government, of part of the private politics. In Brazil we have from 2010 a political national issue that says that producers has a inverse politic. Is this not a mandatory of the government? It's to the producers and makes that change the priority of all the senses from the economics, environmental and social. I think that will be in my own point of view. Even in Colombia, Brazil, and the other countries in Latin America. According to municipalities, we can say that are they capable to confront this topic, or could we do it through experts and operators like here in Boyacá, Urbacera, and another type in the world, and other countries that do it on because of the governance don't allow to continue the type of politics, even if they put the politics but in the governance change we have ideology change means that don't allow to continue. How can we do it from the municipality, and what is their recommendation?
Sí, es una problemática.
It's a problematic. This changement, the continuity, mainly in the municipalities that are not private full landfill. We saw multiple cases, San Jose de los Casos.
Tivemos cambio
We
de
had
política
a political changement. The landfill,
era no ETA 10 en la agencia ambiental, pero con lo cambio político foi
but unfortunately with the political change, it wasn't work.
Bueno ter la cambio novamente de la política e aterrou es novamente nota 10. El San José é exemplo muito bueno de
San Jose, it's a good example of how can apply the waste management of recycle and the landfill, how are monitored from all the processes of the supply chain. So it's a good example. And also about the discontinuing, about the problematic of Mr. Alejandro, from your perspective of about the circular economy, that is your specialty from that point, how we can manage in the municipality to a solution to the municipalities that maybe haven't get a good option or solution for it. I will say that the first advice and the main is to get in the science, let the science speaks, the research, the knowledge, in partner with the universities, the college, and people that know can open the doors that the public finds solutions that doesn't exist in this moment. So I remember with Mr. Osterkarra when we spoke about continuous sensor, and after that, and it works. We don't have to be scared about it, about this type of topics, and we have to find in the universities, in the experts about the topics in the technical criteria, a tool that led us to promote. We have just finished in a Bogotan experience that is very crazy. Other organics management, and I was in that work team, and in the end was very satisfactory that this type of technology works. We were talking about anaerobic digestion. So with this type of jobs, we are working to put this type of technology to market, but the most important is to be open mind in this public sector and to listen. And the technicians, we have to be enough responsibility and ethic to consult in a good way. When we can do it, we do it, and we have normally, or we can take risk. Mr. Pietro, you have spoken at the morning and your expertise in the recyclers and in their training. A lot of time we do negotiations between the state and the company, but who really do their work are the recyclers, obviously. But because of the employment, it's people that must be here from the municipalities of this type of business. But how can you think that should be the correct training to get enough knowledge to do a great job in a resource talent? I think that an important point of the work of who recollect independently of their formal or education is the pure grade that after achieve to give to the channels. It's difficult that in the value chain can sustain if there is not a pure grade. This means that the users of the should have to separate the waste in a good way, and who recollects after give homogeneous parts. But in my own point is that is a mistake if this is just of education and culture. If the citizenship is not educated, they are not giving in a good way. We gave the responsibility. So when the proposals are from the companies, from the collective models, effective systems, normally they respond. For example, in all the countries. In Italy, we have an Scandinavia, this is in the North Italia. In Africa, it's a sur of Africa. And for example, 15 years ago, whatever that you implement is not possible to apply in Rome. But when we were accurate to the system, it works being in Rome, the south or the north of Italy. When you think in a good progress, we change from the 4 to 5% in just 1 month to 63% because we change in a radical way all the system and all the people respond. And I will say that firstly, the and new generations. Mr. Marcelo, your experience and your knowledge is great, and what you speak, we follow your experience. I would like to ask you about the landfill, regional landfill. What's your opinion when we have a landfill that get the waste of different municipalities that arrive there from the infrastructure, the operativity, and the cost, and why don't have this type of landfill in each municipality? And what do you think about that regional projects that get involved different municipalities? The landfill, for say, it's the vital for the people. Because you have a town without hospital, but you can't bring the service to everyone if we want to help everyone. Same happen with landfill. If we get and give services to all people in the landfill on all municipalities, it's difficult. It's difficult. But I believe, I think that we will reach, that we will have landfills 3.0 that are gonna recover the damage that we have done with the minery, with the extraction of the land. That is the real key. How to compensate the menaces that it's there. That's the key. And we have to be grateful for the landfill that we had in 22 sickness because it's protect us. We maybe didn't like the smell, but it protects us. And the word use it. What we have to do right now is to get conscientious to reach and to have the tendency that be zero disposition. And we have to planificate it. I always ask, resolve a problem without Pythagoras is the same for everyone? Why, being the smallest, we have to give more? Why? They try to convince that garbage it's realness, but really it's social, and we have to learn about it. A company is looking like a predator, but that is the reject that provokes. Are our friends that help our to resolve our problem, but without you, we don't have the solution for that. All technology must to be involved with education. I don't imagine like in Sweden that you pay a beep car and you put your for example, I imagine if I put that in my city, I put my car and five people put it right there. That calls education, that calls education, and that's what we are doing right now. So for that, I invite you to reflect about it. If you have management plans, you know the value that it has. You know the value. Have you seen how many countries are doing this? I think that when you have delimited all the plan, I will come back to congratulate you because we'll be the first South American country to say zero garbage for the conspiration. Thank you. And the people that is following the streaming this event by media and the different channels that we have, obviously that each one has his own conclusions and the content that they are sharing. How can we take the information of this? Clara is gonna tell us where is the link that where we can get the information. But we would like to finish this small space of conclusion of the day. That for each of you choose one of your partner to formulate a question that maybe has insight and that has been being resolved before that maybe one of your partner can give us that solution. I think that this is a richness type of methodology to do it. So for example, I will start with Derma. Who would you like to choose of your colleagues of a questions to resolve? I choose Petra because it's my friend.
Eu quero saber o que espera dela
I want to know what do you speak about the
desenvolvimento, educação,
education changements and
estas mudanças
how these changements that we are looking right here in Latin America. I live in America Latin. From 29, I got married with a Latin American that was born in Mexico. So I almost I have most perception. I thought I live more in remote from some years ago, but in Italy before to move to Latin America, I used to organize recollection systems, including the education and communication. From there, I got the perception that the education, like the communication, will be ingredients to recipes that are more complex, like a cake without sugar, it's not good. But for example, if you look me just sugar, it's not okay. The same happens with communication and education. If you don't have a system that is not able to involve homogeneous fractions from landfill municipals and those things and it's maintain and be efficient, you can have all the educated people, but the environmental outcome won't be. Instead, if you promote the system and it's not valid for everyone, but you get a good system for that territory and the systems, and you add culture and investment, obviously that everything is gonna be perfectly, and the new generations are sensible to the environmental topics in Tanzania, in Europe, or in Latin America. If you don't have the systems, people and system don't respond. So systems that are not working in Finland doesn't work in Italy anywhere. That's my comment. Can you see how this beautiful is between the yes are speaking? Mr. Alejandro, who would you like to choose to this question? Miss Dharma. And the last time we have a tendency that companies are creating solutions to promote the compostage in home. Even are some technologies that are very interesting to the different materials. We know that the solution for our problems are from a good manage of the waste, organic waste. How to integrate these business models in a useful way and in our biggest cities and capitals. As you say, Bogota it's bigger. Imagine Ciudad de Mexico, Sao Paulo, that are bigger cities than called Bogota. So for you, the solution is to have a mega system. What is your perspective about these options? Thank you. And I say at morning in Brazil, the landfills received more than 50%, 60 70% of organic material. So it's a very big problem. I think that the alternative of compostation at home are alternative, well, it's alternatives but very small, eh, in contrast of the waste restrictions in the same when compostation Brazil. I don't know about Latin America, specifically Colombia. The market is not very value and attractive, so I see this problem. Also, we have a big problem about the compostation, a big scale by the time and the treatment time that it takes to do this process 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months until 1 year. So the perspective always positive, but are a lot of problems that we have to solve. It's not just one alternative of a short time to have a valid and sustainability solution and technician, but economic. Mr. Pietra, who do you choose? Mr. Martinez. That is not expert just in waste, but also about climate change. In Europe, analyzing the politics and circular economies more, that one investigator has shown that everything has been measured by proportions of 75% of waste. But for example, if we above these proportions and the absolute numbers, the reality is that the recycle increase at the same time the environmental impact increase. So it's not just institutional communication. It doesn't look a very well a tendency of reversion. On the other hand, they are imagining and implementing different tools of planification, economical planification. In your opinion, does exist politics or tools, emergent tools that could revolve at the speed that we need, that and everything won't be reparable. Completely agree with you. Here also we measure in percentages. As an indicator, it's like another indicator can show me what I want to see. And it's true. A topic of reduction, we couldn't see the real reduction per capita. It's just I measure by percentage. I think that are different tools. One of these ones sits in the European Union some years, and proudly we adapt here almost one to some years was the green taxonomy. I'm very interested. It is like a dictionary, a glossary for some activities. What can we consider green or sustainability? For example, the water and for the waste. I feel proud of it because I was the national leader of green taxonomy. It was a big work. General times, this is a very important instrument because now, for example, a bank just take and I'm gonna say we're gonna finance in a type of typical to reduce the impact in contrast of the climate change, and now they have a guide. For example, now the economy state has this is what we admit or what we believe in compliance with the COP against COP diversity according the impact that we want. These ones are tools that can change that, but it key outdated. But I think that this is a process that we have adopted here in Colombia and that we have presented.
Pero lo bonito es eso, que ahora ya, por ejemplo,
But
los bancos ya no
for
es que
example,
llega alguien que dice, no, mira, es que yo voy a construir diamantes
it's
a
not
partir
someone
de
that
recursos orgánicos por
give
completo, no sé
us
qué cosa.
any project.
Y entonces el banco dice, bueno, pues suena chévere, te doy la plata. No, ahora es, momentico, eso es
Now,
sostenible, reviso,
all
diamantes, no, no es
they
cierto.
are
Mira, no, es
looking for
la tasa normal. Te doy una
sustainable
tasa especial para que
plans
se pueda
and
generar. Pero por otro
investments
lado,
to do.
aquellos que quieren desarrollar proyectos
But for
de
example, this type of people that want to
mejorar,
develop
digamos, el
projects
manejo de los
in
residuos y
valorization and
quieren
to
innovar, pues ya tienen
want to innovate
la
about
receta de la tarta, como dicen los
waste
doctores.
management, they have their
Ya sé qué puedo ofrecer.
good reset and how can they offer,
Recursos
and
económicos
they will find
más económicos y más
economical
baratos
resources
que el
cheaper
mercado normal. Y yo creo que
than
en
in
este
the
momento vamos a
normal
necesitar
market.
desarrollar muchos más
We have to develop
innovadores para diferentes
much more
sectores que puedan
innovations for other sectors
potenciar esas otras
to
alternativas y
potentialize
lograr
this type of
que nuestro
alternative.
modelo no es único.
I believe that the solution is not just one.
Muchísimas cosas,
We need
pero si
a
podemos
lot of
hacer
solutions, but be
y si no,
in a synergy and to be mixed between them. We are gonna finish with Mr. Marcel, a person who knows something, everything. So, would you like to ask of your colleagues to enrich our dialogue? Some minutes before I asked about material organic, if we don't have, we wouldn't be here. I have been in Brazil. I just worked to Quebec in Pernambuco. I learned a lot. I worked with Alvaro Castañeda from the university. I learned a lot of him. I have seen big projects, and I always thought that Brazil not just for learn, that they will develop more, because there is the key and solution. And the question that I want to take advantage of this: why, if all this management infrastructure and effort that you have in Brazil at the seminar pastor, they have promote, but here it's faster than Brazil. Tell us why it's not too fast in Brazil. I don't know, but I believe that the a difficulty of public and management are the biggest block to promote these ideas that don't reach the effective goal that are looking. We have good examples, but are not yet good examples in an adequate disposition where almost 40% recollected. So I think that we have a lack of public politic that be more effective with the environmental agencies, regulatories. I believe that Brazil has a very big potential, but we don't have. It's very, very difficult. And the star culvertros are technicians are money, but the politic volunteer is what it's failing. If you resolve the volunteer politic, it will worse. And that big program issue, an issue, will be a success, because it's from we have learned about biogases about you. So nice to know that if it resolved, we will learn more. Thank you. And we are gonna close. And I detected very interesting from the media, not as an expert, because I have learned a lot today as director of Boyacá Siete Días, that has worked with Urbacer and the other sponsorship for today. We have learned a lot today for these hours, and even if it has been a long conference, we are gonna ask you if we will do a highlight for the media. Please, how do you catalog this experience during this journey? How will you announce? How will you write? How will you in a phrase as conclusion, like the highlight of the news? For these four phrases works to as a slogan and to knowledge, and until these slogans, how we could do the next stage, because they are gonna summary in some phrases. Mr. Miss Telma.
Sí, yo
Say,
voy a terminar con la
I will
frase
finish with
que mi
this
amigo
phrase that
Giovanni me
my
decía
friend
poco.
Giovanni said:
Lo mejor residuo es aqueles que
the
no se
best
geran.
disposal is
Yo
which
creo
you
que
don't pick
esto es
up.
una mejor termo. Ah, sí, claro. Lo mejor residuo
The
es
best
aquellos que no
waste
se geran.
are those that don't.
Sí, sí, sí. Lo mejor residuo es aqueles que no
The
se
best waste
generan.
are those ones that are not generated,
Que no se producen.
that don't
Es
produce.
mejor.
It's better.
Pero un minutito. Yo quiero
Miss
aprovechar,
Telma,
puedo hacer una
can I do an
invitación para todos
invitation
ustedes.
for all of you
El
guys?
próximo año estaremos
The
haciendo
next year we will
un seminario
do
de gestión de
a
residuos
seminar about the
en
waste
Brasil.
management
Então,
in
acá
Brazil.
está
So everyone,
haciéndolo en
I
conjunto con
extend the
ustedes.
invitation for all of you guys. I'm sure that the slogan will be that
Serão todos
of
bem-vindos. Muchas
conclusion.
gracias.
You will be, all of you guys, welcome. Mr. Alejandro, what is your highlight?
Antes toca averiguar cuándo salimos entonces todos en bloques, son varios
But
buses.
before we need to
Hoy va a
know
ser la puso complicada. Bueno, el titular,
the highlight
algo así
will
como
be
la sostenibilidad
the
en el manejo de
sustainability
residuos
in
se
the
puede. Dos puntos.
manage you can.
Urbacer
Urbacer,
muestra cómo
show us how to do it. Mr. Alejandro is an expert in marketing right now. Mr. Petro, what is your highlight? I will say from the heart is Urbacer building visions in Tunja. Building visions in Tunja. Everyone take that ideas, experience, and what is gonna work about build to make visions. And with all the information that we spoke here, each one that heard us will develop their idea, building visions. Okay, and at the end, from Mr. Marcelo, very difficult, I will say. That cities that less dirty, it's more than good cleaning. The simpler, Urbacer, your paper is important. Sit and share. Give me the money. I need it. Okay, Clara. We have finished this interesting space that we wanted to know more didactic that let us know.
una despedida química después de todo lo que lo hemos aburrido de síntesis que se me ha ocurrido.
We want to say you
Sulfúrico, ácido muriático,
ácido sulfuric acid and flash has been a pleasure to meet you. Words from Mr. Marcel. Mr. To you, thank you so much for to Ricardo. You have led us four highlights Very important for this first day of our second international meeting about waste management in time of climate change. We couldn't close this. We couldn't with this our speaker Oscar, our manager of Urbacer. Mr. Oscar, we are very grateful for this space, this meeting that you have put us all together. So I will give you the word for you. Thank you so much, everyone. First, for everyone for the capacity that you have been listening us and to listen our fabulous and speakers. I believe that all of you have some knowledge, ideas to put in practice and to develop it. Before to close, I really want to grateful to Mr. Ricardo, that is the producer, visionary, inspiration. Our speaker, our main speaker. I'm very proud of this type of methodology and all the friends. Telma, muito obrigado. Thank you so much. We have shared about different meetings. We hope to be together again. To my friend Francisco Oliveira, to all friend. This connection with Brazil will be super interesting. To Mr. of Mr. He knows from her that we love him, that we would like to have for a lot of cycles. Here, he told us the idea, not just was the slogan, and it's all that is from the Historic Academy. We would like to do this worldwide environmental program. We are gonna do it, and we are gonna do it here in Tunja. Obviously, with Petro, we have we have an out. Finally, we could do it. I think that this path and this way that this topic that maybe it's invisible, some things that of the people that are working in the recycle, to understand their culture, their reality, their socioeconomic reality. It's something impressive that we have learned today. And at the end, our friend, our leader Jose Alejandro, really thank you from the end to be here. It's a pleasure to be with you, to everyone. Finally, I would like Miss Susana. I'm very grateful with you, Susana, and all team that let us do this of the team of Santo Tomas University that allow us this event. We are very proud, very happy from this place and technology that we have here, and that we can almost fulfill that it was one of the goals for us, for the FRI and all of Santo Tomas University. To all my colleagues, I would like to greet you, Rodrigo Velasco from the Sur. Yes, Alejandro, Pablo Felipe, that it's always to support us and he's inspirator for us about our cathedrals. Thank you, Pablo Felipe. Thank you so much, all the sponsors that and all the friends that we have associated with us, and Desco, that we exchanged some ideas, and Desco was in contact with 150 enterprises in the environmental seminary, and at the same time we were here, we were exchanging conferences, and it's right here. But also, Mr. Marcel was in the Desco. They will be here tomorrow, almost more than 80 people to the park from all the country. That is something amazing from all the country, all the territories. This visit will be unique. Finally, I would like to really appreciate to my team to true. We haven't have this space. We couldn't to hire experts or logistic. We ourselves as Urbaser has become with over effort to this job in alliance with Santo Thomas University, in alliance with our producer, our inspirator, and in head of Clara Pleta and all my team that is with blue jackets. Our partners from FACA to Shaka, in head of Alejandra, has helped a lot. Thank you so much, and especially to Clara, that was our captain, that oriented us. Thank you so much, and have a great evening. Thank you so much. Thank you. There's a picture.
Bueno, invito entonces a este panel, vamos a tomarnos una fotografía. Doctor Pablo Felipe también, por favor, que se acerque a acompañar el estrado principal, agradeciéndole fuertemente a Tere,
Very full for Terma, Pietro, Marcela, and Jose Alejandro to accept this invitation. Mr. Ricardo to social media, Adesco, and Santo Thomas University. Thank you for being participant of these meetings, educative meetings, and we really appreciate Mr. Roberto Humberto, Executive Director of Urbacer, Dr. Pablo Felipe, Secretary General, Mr. Oscar Erazo, Regional Director General, Urbacer, Nororiente. They made the second. As Doctor says before, thank you so much. We're gonna take the official picture of this amazing time, and don't go because we have an activity, cultural activity that Universal will show us from the traditional, and we are finishing at this moment to our streaming. Thank you so much for all people that are connected via streaming, Urbacer Colombia fan page, and Urbacer YouTube channel. Thank you so much for everyone that is right here, and I hope that you have a great evening and to see you again in another of conference. Remember, this was our international meeting of waste management. Thank you.
para los ponentes y para todo el equipo de Urbacer que hizo posible este gran evento. Entonces, foto, por favor. Entonces, a dar paso.